Thank you. I know the hour is late, but I started out this morning nearly in Canada. I was in Saratoga Springs, New York at 7:30 this morning. And then I went to another place in upstate New York. Then I went to Pittsburgh, then to West Virginia, then to Louisville, Kentucky, and down here. I keep looking for this enthusiasm gap the Republicans say exists, and I can't find it to save my life. I want to thank Senator Bill Nelson. I want to say a few things about Alex Sink and Kendrick Meek in a minute, but thank you, Mayor Buddy Dyer. Thank you, Heather Beeman, for running for Congress and for your service in the United States Navy when I was president. Thank you, Representative Pedro Pierluisi, from coming all the way from Puerto Rico to be with us. We're grateful to you. Representative Corinne Brown, Representative Alan Grayson, Representative Suzanne Costas. She got a race tomorrow that you can make a difference in if we get to vote. I want to thank Karen Thurman for chairing our party. Attorney General candidate Dan Gilbert, thank you. CFO candidate Lorraine Osley, Agriculture Commissioner candidate Scott Maddox, Rod Smith, thank you all for being here. Look, you know what? Tomorrow is about more than these elections. Tomorrow is about who Florida is. This is not about right and left. This is about right and wrong. It's about yesterday or tomorrow. And I got to tell you this, I just came from the University of Louisville in Kentucky, and we're out there, and there are thousands of people out there, all these college students, and right there on the lawn, there is a massive copy of Rodin's sculpture, The Thinker. So I pointed it out, I said, here we are at the university, you see that? That's the real problem in this election, people aren't doing enough of that. This is, honest to goodness, this is the most fact-free election I've ever been involved in my life. What you have to decide is whether you are going to be a state of the future or a tribal enclave of people fighting each other.
Yes.
When you voted for me in 1996, I knew you were going to be a state of the future. When you voted in 2000, I knew you were going to be a state of the future. Now just look, let's just talk about this. We can't be fact-free.
Thank you.
You know, but I want to tell you all, this is a great crowd. Look around this. This is Florida's future. Look at this crowd. All ages, all races, all different kinds of people. I want to tell you something about these polls. They're all based on a theory of who's going to vote. And the theory is that the vote tomorrow will not look like this crowd tonight.
Right.
The theory is that the vote tomorrow will reflect a 25% drop in the overall numbers from the presidential election. That's fairly standard. Except they expect a 35% drop in the Latino vote, a 40% drop in the African American vote, and a 55% drop in the 25 and under vote. That's not Florida. Florida would have everybody voting the same, and if it happens, everybody on this platform is going to be elected tomorrow. You have to decide. You represent the future. Not right and left, right and wrong, tomorrow versus yesterday. Now look at this Senate race. Let me just say a few things. The Tea Party, first let's just talk about the Tea Party. Wait. There was a really touching article in the paper sometime in the last week about these two ladies that started the Tea Party crowd in Georgia. I don't know if you saw it. One of them had been a flight attendant, another one was a small business person, they'd fallen on hard times. And it was really touching. They were outraged about the bailout. Who wasn't?
Right.
Right? I'm telling you, who wasn't? You think that then Senator Obama and Senator McCain wanted to vote for that thing and made them sick. When I started working in Haiti and with former President Bush, he told me it's the only bill he ever signed that made him sick. Nobody wanted it. They did it not to help Wall Street, but because the biggest car dealer in America stopped financing cars, and it was about to get to where you couldn't buy a refrigerator on credit. But it makes you sick because all the money went back to those big banks that caused the meltdown in New York, and everybody else is still in trouble and they're making money again. So I get that. But let's just look at the record. These Tea Party people, they say, what do they want? They say they want balanced budgets, lower taxes, more jobs, smaller government, right? Well, if this were a fact-based election, they'd look at the last 28 years before all this happened, and they'd see that in the 8 years I had the privilege to serve, we had more jobs than in the other 20 years. In the other 20 years. That literally 100 times as many Americans worked their way from poverty into the middle class in those 8 years as in the other 20 years. That the only 4 balanced budgets occurred in those 20 years. That the government was smaller when I left office than it had been since 1960 when Dwight Eisenhower was president and John Kennedy was elected. And bigger on both sides. Where is the love? I ought to be the Tea Party's poster child. The reason I'm telling you this is not a fact-based election. Let's just look at the facts. Take the Senate race. What do we need? What do you want in Florida in a senator and a governor? You want to build a 21st century economy with real jobs that have opportunity for the middle class and allow people to send their kids to college and people to make another life and the retirees to live in dignity and security. Isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
Okay. Issue number 1, jobs. Kendrick Meeks supported the stimulus. Marco Rubio says it was a terrible waste of money and a total failure. Now they're supposed to be for tax cuts, right? 36% of that stimulus gave 95% of the American people, over 110 million families, a tax cut. And nobody knows it. He did that. His opponent is against it. Why? Because I didn't get a tax cut. The only people I really care about are people like me. I love saying this. I never had a penny to my name, but I got it away. I don't know why I'm not over there at one of their rallies. They're just throwing money at me. But every economist knows it's the worst thing you can do. Once you've got more money than you can spend, if somebody gives you some more, you will not spend it all. I say, give it to middle class people, help people go to college, train people for jobs.
Hell yeah!
Bring manufacturing back, bring small business back. That's where the jobs are. And 30% of that money went to aid in state and local government to hold taxes down in Florida or keep you from having to fire teachers or police officers or nurses. A third of it went to build us out of that deep hole they left us in. Only $272 billion. Less than 10% of the size of the $3 trillion hole. Every independent analysis says it's already been responsible for 1.5 million jobs, saved a bunch more. The unemployment rate would be 2 points higher if it hadn't passed. And it is not going to add to the long-term deficit of the country. A lot of that money was one-time spending, and we'll get out of it. Unlike under the other party, where they quadrupled the debt before I was president, I left them a $232 billion surplus, and then they doubled the debt again because they wouldn't follow the pay-as-you-go rule. This is not realistic. If you want jobs, you should be for Kendrick Meeks for senator because that is not work. Then you got to educate people for the jobs. Okay, so there are more than 3 million jobs in America this night that have been open and advertised for hire for more than a month. What is the answer? Restore the cuts that existed in the previous 8 years in training funds for technical jobs and